Thank you, everyone, for joining us for tonight's post-game press conference. We'll start with a statement from head coach Chris Acker, then open it up for questions for Shaquille Bender and coach when you're ready.
Yeah, very proud of my guys again for battling back down in that game and showing resolve and staying together, staying connected. We really struggled to keep them out of the paint tonight. That had a lot to do with our disposition on defense tonight and not being able to, we kept taking the ball out of the net throughout the course of that game way too much, way too many times in a row. And I just felt like, if we could have, made some plays at the end, we had an opportunity to get a rebound. We gave up the rebound, and then they scored the basket. We would have had a chance with 1.5 minutes or something like that left to go in the game to get a basket on the other end, tie the game sooner. So just a tough loss for us at home.
Coach, I'm curious. You guys open the game. Cole, Shaquille, and Gavin go 4 for 5 from three-point range. Those three come out after the 5-minute timeout. They go on a 17-5 run. I understand you have your kind of set rotation, but is there any thoughts of keeping one of those three in, or is there any kind of consideration there at that point?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. The funny thing is, that was actually the first time we'd ever done that. And I spin, again, this group is a very interesting group because, as I said in the last press conference, the difficult thing for me is to figure out who's ready to go. And sometimes the only way to do that is to figure out, can we get these guys minutes earlier in the game so that we can, see if they're ready to go. And then I can figure out the rotation as the game goes on. So tonight was just one of those nights where the guys that came in the game, the lead increased on the other end, so I went right back to the other three guys. And then when they got back in the game, there were some mistakes made throughout the course of that stretch, so I went back to those other guys. And so it's just trying to find a consistent rotation. We've changed things a lot throughout the season, trying to just wake guys up, trying to get guys to understand that they have a responsibility to be ready to go. This guy to my left is usually always ready to go. It's just unfortunate. I don't really believe that, substitutions necessarily have anything to do with wins and losses. I think rebounding the basketball, transition D, taking care of the basketball, those things are what lead to wins and losses. We have enough points in our locker room to be able to win a game. When a team's scoring 60 points in the paint, that's why you're losing the basketball game. And so I'm just proud of the fact that these guys are in on the coaching staff as we continue to try to figure out ways to keep everybody engaged and keep everybody with the right mindset.
Shaquille, team was down 17 points in the second half, came almost all the way back. We've heard what coach had to say about it. What was the players feeling to keep grinding into that point?
Like coach always say, we always gonna battle to the end, especially home in the beach. We always try to go our hardest and we always gonna fight no matter what. So that was like the mindset, and what I was telling the guys in the huddle was like, yo, we ain't down, it's still a lot of time. And we went on a run, we was down 9, so I'm like, yeah, we got it, like we here, and then everybody just buy in, and that's how we go.
And coach, can you take me behind your thoughts and decision making on not calling a timeout with those 24 seconds left? Were you going just off momentum, relying on Bender's run, or to not call a timeout to regroup and that little momentum?
Yeah, we had a play drawn up out of the timeout prior, and DeMarche kind of forgot the play. But it was a pin down for Shaq to come off and turn to his right hand because we were trying to make sure that we had a timeout left. So the timeout previous, we had drawn up the play because we knew it was going to be a one-possession game towards the end. And he got a shot off. And, for us, when you're on fire, you just that shot's a good shot for him in that situation. So I'm glad he had the ball in his hands. But we got the ball to the guy that we needed to get to. This time of the year, everybody knows who's going to have the ball in their hands. So the ball was in the right guy's hands, and he got a shot off. It didn't go in. They went down the floor, scored, and, we had a chance to win it at the end.
Yeah, and then you guys were outscored 60-18 inside the paint tonight. What did you see from your defense?
It wasn't very good. Yeah. And I say that in terms of, I want to be clear when I say that. I don't mean our defense isn't very good, but guarding the paint tonight. And again, I always say, you got to give credit to Northridge, right? They have a guard that drives with his head down, and if you help, he sprays out, and their guys are always ready to shoot. So it's you pick your poison. And, he got in the paint and made baskets, and then he dropped the ball off. And, again, the Kid 3 made a timely shot in the corner. So that's how it goes.
Leopold Levelon picks up his 4th foul kind of in quick succession and then stays in for the rest of the game. Can you take me through that moment where he pushes DeMarche back to the bench and stays on the floor and then makes some big plays down the stretch?
Again, it's trying to figure out who's ready to go, who's not ready to go. Trying to figure out, like, Leo's been in late games and made plays down the stretch of the game. So I just trusted my instincts in that regard because DeMarche plays better when he plays shorter stretches, and Leo usually finishes the game and plays in longer stretches. And so I just felt like I knew that he could give us some energy off the bench on the glass, and he wasn't going to get pushed around. And, you know, he, to his credit, not starting tonight, DMX played great in the last game, so we wanted to reward him by bringing him off the bench second. DeMarche played better in the last game. So, again, it's just us trying to figure out who's ready to go night in and night out, and then figuring out as the game goes on who should be in the game towards the end of the game.
All right. Thank you, guys.
I appreciate it.